And for your top story this hour, federal border Czar Tom Homan has said that the Trump administration has announced the end of its large-scale immigration enforcement surge in Minnesota. Homan told reporters that the US President Donald Trump approved his request to conclude the operation, known as Operation Metro Surge, and that a significant crackdown of federal immigration agents is already underway and will continue into next week. Let's listen in.
With that, and success that has been made arresting public safety threats and other priorities since this surge operation began, as well as the unprecedented levels of coordination we have obtained from state officials and local law enforcement, I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude. A significant drawdown has already been underway this week and will continue.
Homan said he will remain in Minnesota temporarily to oversee the withdrawal and ensure its successful completion. The surge, which began in December, deployed thousands of immigration officers to the Minneapolis-St. Paul area and led to more than 4,000 arrests, according to federal authorities. While the administration said it focused on public safety threats, the operation drew strong opposition from local officials and residents. The enforcement effort sparked widespread protests, particularly after 2 US citizens were fatally shot by federal agents during operations this year, intensifying scrutiny of ICE tactics and the role of federal law enforcement in communities. We are now being joined by Raymond Vickery, who's an international affairs expert and former US Assistant Secretary of Commerce, joining us from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us here today on NewsX World. Why is the surge ending now? What has changed that led Tom Homan to say that Minnesota immigration operation will conclude?
Well, thanks very much for having me. What's changed is the polls and the reception of the American people to the disastrous invasion, really, of Minneapolis by ICE. The killing of 2 civilians, citizens of the United States, the taking of people breaking into homes without judicial warrants in violation of the Fourth Amendment, the abuse of power on the streets to limit the freedom of speech guaranteed under the First Amendment. All of these things have contributed to very negative results in the polls politically for this operation. As you know, Tom Homan replaced an earlier commandant for ICE in Minneapolis, who was extremely aggressive. Homan himself is no shrinking violet. He was the author of the issue or the program to separate children and parents as a way to discourage illegal immigration. But he is a sounder approach in terms of what the reception is to what's been going on there. So I think that that's the long and short of it. The idea that you were going to sweep in with really a military force and take out all of the people who were not documented to the satisfaction of ICE, it was never an appropriate approach to the illegal immigration problem. And so that is being realized, but it is not really a deviation from the overall policies of President Trump, and the story about ICE and invasion of American cities is not over by any means.
And was the operation successful? Did the federal crackdown achieve its goals, or did it create more problems than it solved, as we saw with the widespread of protests, not just in Minnesota, but across the whole country?
It has obviously created more problems than it has solved. There is widespread approval in the United States and support for having a revision in terms of how we deal with immigration. But there is extremely little support for the approach of that has been taken in this instance.
Thank you. Don't go anywhere, as we will be back with you very shortly. 2 Mexican Navy ships have docked